Sports Arena is hosting a hockey showcase with local student athletes to display their ice hockey talent. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for Fox 4 News at 11 o'clock. I'm Elyse Chengery. As we know, we are heading into a pretty busy weekend here in Southwest Florida as we enter the 4th of July weekend. We saw a lot of boaters that were out on our waterways, including the Elyse Chengery River.
My photographer Kevin here, he's dealt with hurricanes. He's been in dozens of storms before. This is the first hurricane that I've covered. This is the first time I'm experiencing this. What I can tell you, the power has been on and off at our hotel here. The area has been evacuated. Of course, we know that the mayor of Sanibel evacuated the other day. She said, she was sorry, she didn't want to have to do it, but she encouraged other residents to do it as well. If you are home, that's why we're out here. We're the media trying to let you know what this is like. So stay inside, stay safe. We're showing you what these conditions are looking like. The wind is very, very strong. Again, we're going to head in after this because we just wanted to stay safe. But you can see the drastic difference of what we are experiencing over here near Sanibel. As you can see, we're really feeling that impact of Hurricane Ian right now. Again, we'll stay here towards Sanibel to continue updating you throughout the day. In the meantime, reporting live here in Sanibel, I'm Elyse Chengery, Fox 4.
Okay, so what would you do if you found this on the beach? I don't know if I would be terrified or intrigued. This rare and dangerous find over on Sanibel while a resident was on her morning walk. Tonight, Lee County Sheriff's Office confirms a body was found in the Elyse Chengery River near North Fort Myers.
Good morning, Amy and Chris. Yes, I spoke with a man. He lives in Naples. His son was unfortunately tragically killed by a distracted driver years ago. And you're going to hear from him here shortly, and you're going to be surprised with what he says. I think it can relate to a lot of us. I also spoke with the president of StopDistractions.org. She talks about the importance of having a hands-free state of Florida. So what does that mean? Obviously, we have texting laws here in our state, but when it comes to the hands-free law, that's in place for work zones and school zones. So if something like this gets passed, it would mean that it's 100% illegal to be on your phone while operating a motor vehicle.
Thank you so much for joining us for Fox 4 News at 11 o'clock. I'm Elyse Chengery. Tonight we are following the latest with an officer-involved shooting in Cape Coral, where one man is dead after brandishing a gun at officers. Cape Coral Police Department held a press conference tonight to say despite life-saving measures, 73-year-old Roland Henry Hale died in that shooting. That shooting happened inside a house there on Northeast 5th Lane near Pine Island in Del Prado. Well, the DOJ says a Florida law set to go into effect this weekend is unconstitutional. The law signed by our Governor Ron DeSantis would restrict some Chinese citizens from owning property here in our state of Florida. Just a lovely photo there.
She almost went to the Elyse School of Etiquette. It is what it is, but...
That made me speechless. That's adorable. Thank you so much, Andrew.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Good morning, Chris. Yes, we are on a 150-foot barge right now. These resources really help to continue the progress ever since Hurricane Ian. The crew that we're with today, R.J. Gorman Marine Construction, we've essentially been able to shadow them in their work ever since the hurricane.
Well, all eyes are right here on our state of Florida this week as former President Donald Trump faces a Tuesday court appearance in Miami. So he's calling the charges against him a case of political prosecution.
Good evening. People I spoke with here today are just happy to be back post Hurricane Ian. They say they are glad to be able to support the businesses that are starting to reopen. They're also happy to be back on the beach. So they tell me they actually don't mind paying the parking fees. As you all sit here today inside Savage Arena for your graduation day, I know the feeling. As I am a proud graduate of the University of Toledo and sat right here, just like you, in Savage Arena on my graduation day years ago. I especially said on the day of my graduation to my parents and my siblings that one day I'm going to be up there. I said I'm going to be commencement speaker, and here we are, an honor and a dream come true. That's what I'd like to talk about with you all here today, how you too can fulfill your dreams. Come take a walk with me. My photographer Kevin and I are here in the mangroves as these companies are working to remove these boats that have been stuck since Hurricane Ian. We're here along Fort Myers Beach to give you a first-hand look on one of these boats that all crashed upon each other. Now, this is a perspective from many of the shrimpers that actually survived on these boats during Hurricane Ian. And when we're talking about the process of the boat removal, if you can look at this, I keep telling you it's different when you see it actually in person compared to the videos and the pictures. You can imagine how much these boats weigh, and where we're standing, there's more than a dozen that's surrounding us. And today I I was speaking with many of those shrimpers. One of them is Ricky Moran. He's been doing this for decades, and he survived on this boat during Hurricane Ian. I'm Fox 4's Elyse Chengery here in Collier County as we are covering the Sandy fire. I mean, look at all this smoke here behind me. These are the reasons why US 41 have had to be closed. This is a safety concern for people driving throughout this area. The smoke is really strong. I still have my sunglasses on because my eyes are burning. There's embers that are flying all around. Let me have my photographer Kevin show you this area over here. Again, this is the Sandy fire that has been burning since May 1st. Approximately more than 150 firefighters have been working 16-hour days to try to keep this fire contained.
That video there really gives you a better perspective of what, our neighbors are dealing with here in Southwest Florida. And we here at Fox 4, well, we continue to track that algae. Our Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley spoke with experts after going for testing for that blue-green algae with those samples. And they say those samples, well, they show levels of toxins. Breaking news. This is over in Cape Coral as Cape Coral police say they are working this scene as an active traffic homicide. They say that doesn't necessarily mean someone died, but they do say that it is a severe crash. Let's get right to that video there right now as our photographer is there on scene. So this is over at 300 block of Kismet Parkway.
Now, this is the building that's located next to the pub, and I'm going to have my photographer Kevin come over here with me to show you exactly the kind of damage that this did, but that bullet went through the wall right here.
Andrew, thank you so much. And tonight, residents, well, they have a growing concern for that blue-green algae that keeps popping up along our waterways. Tonight, Fox 4 spoke with a homeowner in Cape Coral who says even just within the last 24 hours, they've noticed a drastic difference in just how much of that algae has popped up, along with a pretty horrible smell.
Basically, everything that was across the street was pulled all the way over here right behind me. So here's a look at the devastation here as we continue to keep you updated on those recovery efforts of Hurricane Ian 3 weeks later. Live here on Fort Myers Beach, Elyse Chengery, Fox 4. Stay with us. More news coming up after this break.
Family and friends of Officer Adam Jobbers Miller were inside that courtroom today. They were also at the press conference. And after that press conference, I was able to speak with his father. And I asked him if he wants to go on camera and say anything to you, the community. And he just said he didn't want to go on camera. He didn't want to say the wrong thing. And I'm not quite sure if the best word is relief, but speaking with him, you almost saw it in his eyes, some sense of relief. You could tell that he knew a man was going behind bars for the rest of his life without parole for killing his son. And when we're talking about his son, right here, you can see Officer Adam Jobbers Miller. His name is right here on the Fallen Officers Memorial here at the Fort Myers Police Department. And when he was talked about today, everyone said he will be remembered forever. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for Fox 4 News at 10 after the game. I'm Elyse Chengery. Well, over the last several weeks, we here at Fox 4 have been tracking that blue-green algae, those blooms there on Lake Okeechobee and over in the Caloosahatchee River. And tonight, let's show you some new video we have of that new algae bloom at Hancock Creek, which connects the Caloosahatchee River to several canals in North Fort Myers. Of course, many of my favorite stories continue to be the rebuilding of our communities here in Southwest Florida post-Hurricane Ian, and that includes the reopening of the boathouse in Cape Coral on Monday. Sheriff Marcino tells me if he had it his way, he'd want charges to be filed against anyone who gets wind of a school threat or other pending violence, but doesn't come forward about it, saying in this day and time, there are plenty of ways to warn law enforcement, and you can even do it anonymously. Good morning, Chris. That's right. Let's give you a look at exactly what Sanibel looks like right now. We've been here since about 3:30 this morning, and the wind, it's starting to pick up. The rain, it's been on and off. It's drizzling right now, not too terrible. We've been seeing a lot of cars going over the Sanibel Causeway. Now, here's an important note. I've been speaking with officials, and officials with Sanibel Fire Rescue want you to take note of this. They say that if those winds go over 40 miles per hour, well, that causeway that you are looking at, that will be closed. So that is something you obviously want to make a note of. That is the main way how people, these locals, residents, people get in and out of the island here. Today, Sheriff Carmine Marcino, along with other school leaders, are asking for your help. Parents and guardians, they want you to pull your child aside tonight. They want you to explain how important it is to know that fake threats lead to real consequences. And while we're on the topic of school threats, I spoke with parents who say that they want more school safety, which is why the department is
is expanding.
So some 2024 presidential campaigns are just kicking off, but already the ad wars, well, they're heating up.
When my photographer and I were heading out to this area, we could smell the smoke miles away. And when you get closer, you see the multiple hot spots that are spread throughout the area, something that fire crews continue to keep an eye on. Now, officials tell me that we are entering a drier and hotter season than normal. And so I asked those officials, what is something that we can all do to try to help prevent a fire like this from spreading? Amy and Chris, obviously we've seen a drastic difference. The wind, the intensity, it's increasing. I wouldn't even say by the minute, it's by the seconds. You can see this pool, it's basically just the water's been coming out of it. The trees, it's been going crazy. You could see that boat over there. It's been looking like it's, rocking back and forth.
This right here, this tiny little thing is an air tag. It became so popular to help, say, find your keys. But that's not all that this is being used for. Police say criminals are actually using them to commit crimes. Again, they cost around $30 a piece, which is less than most tracking devices. But the scary part, they are hard to find, as police say they can be attached to cars, even in wheel wells, purses, backpacks. And today I wanted to see for myself just how accurate these are.
We're here on San Carlos Island getting a first look at the devastation here. After speaking with the neighbors, they say it's practically a ghost town. A lot of neighbors picked up what they could and rushed out of here. Other neighbors still picking up pieces and trying to survive with what they have. And now, if you're not familiar with this area here, it's right off of the Caloosahatchee River. So many of these homes are right off of canals. And even though you see most of them standing, they look like they're intact. These neighbors say that they had more than 4 feet of that strong storm surge, and it's completely ruined the insides of their homes. But speaking with that foundation, they say when you're talking about 4 feet, that's potential flooding of homes and businesses, and of course, possibly washing out that wildlife. So a lot to focus on here in Sanibel. Of course, I'll be getting with those officials. I've been going back and forth through texts and phone calls trying to get you the latest. Again, the wind not too crazy right now, but it is starting to pick up. Again, we'll continue to update you throughout the morning. Live here in Sanibel, Elyse Chengery, Fox 4.
On Friday, dive teams with the Lee County Sheriff's Office spent hours investigating on a sunken boat there along Fort Myers Beach. Now, the vessel belongs to James Hurst, who Lee County Sheriff's Office says is still the last man unaccounted for after Hurricane Ian. Now, we brought you that new information yesterday, talking about how the dive teams found human remains. Welcome back. So if you're looking for plans on this Thursday and you want to get out of the house, you can head to Golden Gate Community Park for the Collier County Sheriff's Office Hot Summer Nights event.
Hot Summer Night is accurate for sure.
So the latest report shows you should be careful before you open that next text message, as the Federal Trade Commission says scams sent through text messages are increasing, and I know they probably annoy you as well. They're also pretty costly. Now that brings us to a reminder, because of that event, sections of Cape Coral Parkway are closed this weekend for that annual art festival. So take a look at your screen at that portion.
The town of Fort Myers Beach says that you can go to their Notify Me feature on the town's website. That's where you can get texts and emails to follow up with the boil water notice. They say the break has been repaired. However, you should still continue to boil your water before consuming it. On Fort Myers Beach, Elyse Chengery, Fox 4. A Fort Myers husband and wife are facing felony fraud charges after the state attorney's office says they took more than $2 million in COVID-19 relief money. Fox 4 has been following this story. Prosecutors say Timothy Joloff and Lisa Angeloff turned in false paperwork during the pandemic. And tonight, let's head over to Fort Myers Beach, as we know just how bad our area was hit by Hurricane Ian, and those cleanup efforts, well, they've been taking place ever since. And that also includes the rebuilding and also those traffic signals there along Fort Myers Beach. A woman from Iowa lost her leg after being savagely attacked by a shark over in the Bahamas. 73-year-old Heidi Ernst is an experienced scuba diver. All right, so this next story should put a smile on your face. A young girl in Louisiana is showing what success looks like as she just graduated kindergarten. So take a look at this picture. The 6-year-old has gone viral after her mom shared a photo of little Taylor at her kindergarten graduation ceremony. Athletes have the chance to meet with college coaches from some of the nation's top schools, including Cornell, Princeton, and Yale. Our Fox 4 photographer Daniel Cruz attended today's welcome reception ahead of practice and games taking place at Hertz Arena starting tomorrow through Tuesday. Take a look.
It could happen anywhere.
And when we take a look back at the amount of school threats made, even just within this past year, Sheriff Marcino says it's a horrible reminder of the new normal that we live in and that we constantly have to be prepared, even of our surroundings at every second, which he says the department is. In Lee County, Elyse Chengery, Fox 4.
That's amazing. And he came back. Thank goodness to you. Intact. You brought it back. That'll get you a free drink here.
We're here in the Fort Myers Shores area where actually neighbors here reached out to us. They wanted us to come out to their community to cover the damage that they are experiencing. Good morning, Chris. That's right. Let's give you a look at exactly what Sanibel looks like right now. We've been here since about 3:30 this morning, and the wind, it's starting to pick up. The rain, it's been on and off. It's drizzling right now, not too terrible. We've been seeing a lot of cars going over the Sanibel Causeway. Now, here's an important note. I've been speaking with officials, and officials with Sanibel Fire Rescue want you to take note of this. They say that if those winds go over 40 miles per hour, well, that causeway that you are looking at, that will be closed. So that is something you obviously want to make a note of. That is the main way how people, these locals, residents, people get in and out of the island here. So that's an important thing to take note of. You just heard Lauren and Trent, they're talking about those wind speeds. Again, if it goes over 40, that will be closed. Now, also speaking with officials, and I know later on yesterday, the mayor, city council members, the public met to kind of go over their concerns. Something else they were talking about is possible evacuations. What would happen then? Officials also want you to know, say if that bridge is closed, those winds are over 40 miles per hour, and you decide that you don't want to evacuate, well, they say that they will not be able to get to you until those winds go down. Patrick, this is the exact concrete pipe that 12-year-old boy got stuck in last night. You can see the debris that's left over and that hole on top where they had to cut through to rescue him. And now you can see just exactly how tall these pipes are to give you a better idea. I'm 5'4", so you can see the height here. But another concern that those first responders had here last night is they wanted to make sure that none of these tipped and rolled over. As our photographer kind of takes you here with us to show you more along this barge here with this giant crane that I'm sure a lot of viewers, I mean, you can't miss it when you're down here at Fort Myers Beach. In Collier County, Elyse Chengery, Fox 4.